joining me as a perfect segue is someone who has no familiarity with the normal, and that is Tai Chi instructor, Tai Chi Cha instructor extraordinaire, Jessica Lewis from Delaware, dirty, dirty Delaware. How are you, Jessica? Good morning.
I'm good. How are you, Marcus?
I'm good. I'm nice and pumped up after a solid holiday weekend.
Did you just imply that I have absolutely no working knowledge of the real?
Oh no, I said the normal, not the real.
Okay. Normal, real, potato.
If you consider the chaos that is existence normal, then you actually have a pretty good working relationship with reality.
It's been a very unusual time.
That it has. So a question for you, because this is what I was sort of monologuing about, is what in your mind does the world look like when the quarantines finally lift? For your classes, for you, what does it look like?
That's a really good question. I find myself trying to wrap my head around that a lot lately because the functional medicine practitioner's office where I work part-time, and I have been in sort of constant dialogue about my reentry plans, and how that's going to look. And, I think I come to the conclusion repeatedly every time I try to get into this conversation in my head that it is probably not a valuable use of my time to really think too hard about all that, because if COVID didn't prove to us that we had no idea, we never have any idea of what's coming, I don't know what will. I think even the Dalai Lama once said no one ever lived the life they thought they would. So, I mean, we can't get too wrapped up in how we think it's going to go.
That is very Taoist of you, in fact. just follow the river and ride the waves as they toss you about and enjoy the calm seas when you can.
My good friend Judy always says, Jessica, every time I talk to you, it's like I can imagine you lying on your back in a canoe just floating down the river. And oh, look, the moon is so pretty tonight. And I must be really creating quite a smokescreen about the way I operate if she thinks that's really how I am. I really don't I like to be like that, but it's not always like that.
So it is nice when you have those moments of observation of the beauty, regardless of the chaos that may be going on around you on the everyday basis. My goodness. So speaking of managing, calming the storm, as it were, how are your classes going? How are your students? How are things going for you down in dirty, dirty Delaware?
I think things are going well. I mean, before COVID, everybody, I won't paint a picture as if I have a line of students, running around the block to get into my classes. But those that have found their way to me have always reported that it's sort of a calm in the storm for them. And that continues to be the case. I think the coolest side effect of all of this has been that in some ways, some of the laws of time and space have been suspended. So I suddenly have people in my class from Alabama and Wisconsin, Washington, D.C. Somebody contacted me from Wales the other day. And I thought, this is awesome. So how are my classes going? I think they're going fine. I think I don't know, maybe ask the students. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better. I am feeling better. Yes. Thank you. I feel bad. I woke up this morning and I had a good bounce of energy. So I'm thinking whatever it was that I have, I've shaken off. And yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. But thanks for asking. I didn't rest, by the way. I did no resting. There was no resting.
I remember a couple of years ago when the swine flu was such a big deal. I actually caught it, and I had a little fever for 3 days, and then it was gone. It was no biggie. So maybe Tai Chi is great for COVID. Maybe.
Listen, I think the medicine, the medical professionals have more to say about that than we do. But anecdotally, yeah, my health has been amazing since I've been doing this sort of full time. I, no questions. I may have, like, if in fact I had COVID, that was about as light as this thing could get.
Mhm.
You know. But even when I've been sick in the past, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well, uh, I may feel off for about 24 to 36 hours, but after that, I'm perfectly fine. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for how Tai Chi really increases the immune system and just makes the body stronger
Yeah.
all across the board.
Yeah.
Uh, defying age and biology. Not really. Maximizing biology is what we're really doing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I've really been enjoying these chi casts. I usually turn them on while I'm taking my daily walk. So that's why for the first time in months, I'm like completely caught up on all for veterans related YouTube activities. But I especially liked Adam's share because I actually didn't realize that he works for someone similar to who I work for part time. And gosh, these Chicasts, they're causing, I already liked everybody that I've met through this journey, but in getting to hear them more on the Chicast, it's causing me to think, gosh, I just want to spend more time with them. Just the coolest people, with whom I have so many opinions and passions in common. I just want to learn more about them. So.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, at the end of just about every Chi-cast, all but one that I can think of, the one I'm doing now,
All the time.
all I have thought is like we have to like get you back on here and talk for a whole hour and just let you pontificate whatever's coming out of your mind at that point. A good flow of consciousness. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. The cadre of instructors that have been brought together under this movement, quite frankly, is awesome. Is awesome.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Kevin Borgstadt just said hi over there on YouTube. So a big hello, Kevin. Hello. Which is good stuff. So how was your weekend? How was your holiday?
It was great. I worked a lot. And
That
that's
is the opposite of what a holiday is supposed to be, just in case you didn't know.
well, I think you and I share something in common is that I have always, it's not a COVID thing, I have always had trouble establishing really clear boundaries. I think on my tombstone, it will say, Jessica, she had trouble establishing clear boundaries, Lewis. Uh, and perhaps I've created that situation by encouraging people to text me or call me at 6 a.m. or 2 a.m. or whatever, and then answering. It's probably my fault. But when your work is in your home, yeah, by the way, welcome to channel 2020 WJL TV here in my new studio. But when your work is in your home, when you're not doing it, you're thinking about it. So I at least moved everything downstairs, so it's not in my living room anymore. I'm glad I'm not
Smart, very smart. Outside, out of mind. So how do you obviously like so this is a struggle that you have, right? The balance between the work-life balance. But then you add on top of that the fact that your work is also your passion. And so this is something you would be thinking about even if you weren't working. So what are the differences between being an instructor of Tai Chi and being a practitioner of Tai Chi for you?
That's a really good question. There's a huge distinction between teaching and doing Tai Chi. I often wish that I had more time to simply be the student with other teachers. But typically the closest I can get to it is doing it on my own. That being said, I think that one of the greatest gifts of teaching Tai Chi is that it explodes your understanding of it. And I know it may not be the greatest analogy on the planet, but I always think that Tai Chi is like an onion. You know, there's always more layers under there. I can't tell you how often I'll go to an international teachers conference, and one of the trainers, there's three teacher trainers in the Tai Chi world that are authorized to, you know, give us all our credentials and everything. And they'll say something that I'm sure I've heard 1,000 times, but I either wasn't ready to hear it before, or I'm hearing it in a new way, and I take something totally different home with me. And so teaching has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. Yeah, becoming accredited to teach, or the honor of becoming accredited to teach, has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. It just keeps on giving.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But how do you find your student itch? How do you scratch that?
Do you mean how do I actually manage to fit it into my life, or how do I? Yeah. Sometimes I just go, you know. I must say that I'm pretty good at showing up as an empty vessel to most things. And sometimes a student will tell me something, you know, that I'll really take to heart, and it will change the way I do something. So I just try to go to as many opportunities as I possibly can, and without any preconceived notion in my head. So I'm not constantly comparing new stuff coming in with what's already in the filing cabinet. You know, that's the last thing I want to do. Is just get busy thinking about how much I know.
Right, making space for that new information.
Oh,
So talk to me a little bit about the differences between what you learn as an instructor versus what you learn as a student, because you walk both sides of the fence, and I think we all do. As I'm with you, I much more enjoy, and I absolutely love teaching, and I much more enjoy being the student, because there's other things that I get to focus on as a student than as a teacher. But at the same time, I think I love them equally. I just love them differently.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so talk about that. Talk about how what you learn as an instructor can be very different from what you learn as a student, but it's still in the same discipline, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the greatest challenge in being an instructor is being able to meet a student wherever they want to be met. And that's one reason why I'm also I'm a master personal trainer, actually, and a nutritional counselor, is because although I really do think that Tai Chi might be sort of a superpower that sets your well-being on fire, I really do actually kind of think that it might be. I don't really want to put all my eggs in that basket. So what I often tell people, and what I really do teach out there, is that anybody's optimum well-being can be achieved very easily if they move well and eat well and relax well. And that enables me to meet people wherever they want to be met. Some people don't want to exercise, they just hate it. Some people don't want to eat well. Some people are actually committed to being stressed out. So I can work with somebody no matter where they are, and then kind of stealth in the other things, like a stealth bomber. But one of the things that teaching teaches me is how to meet students where they want to be met. So if they come in and they're really bound up, you know, I try to put myself in their shoes and figure out what might be causing them to really hold themselves like this, and then really speak to them in ways that I hear them speaking to me, so that we're on the same page. And it's a constant, every day that you teach, I'm sure you feel the same way. Every day that you teach, there are new ways to describe things. The new ideas come to you. New ways of presenting things, new ways of being, in order for the message to land. They come to you. So I think that's probably the greatest gift of teaching, and that's the stuff that informs your own practice too.
Mm-hmm. 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 So would you say then that instructing is almost like a deeper investigation of your practice, and then the actual practice away from instructing is the application of those discoveries? That did I just completely pull something out of the air?
No, I think you heard me. You you analyzed it all and boiled it down. So that was great. No, I think you heard me. Like, for instance, there's Tai Chi Cha, which is what I'm accredited to teach. There's also Seijaku, which is advanced Tai Chi Cha. I'm accredited to teach that. And there's only one distinction between them, and to the untrained eye, you can't see the difference. But with this extra added Seijaku principle, which is basically encountering an extra resistance while you remain soft and move through that resistance, that informs regular Tai Chi Cha, so that you're able to be even softer when you're doing regular Tai Chi. And encountering various resistances, because most students come to class with resistance. That's the way we are. It informs the way that I can more softly be this agent for change.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, being an agent of change, how does Jessica Lewis and Sculpt Your Life and your involvement in the Tai Chi for Veterans program, what is your vision of change within that sphere?
That's a big question. I know.
Ooh, it is. That's right. We got the hard hitting stuff over here.
I'm going to
I'm
send
like Barbara Walters in the 80s.
Yeah, you are. You're ready for 2020. Oh, TV 2020. No, I think I'm about to say something that's going to cause a lot of people to just say, "Oh my God, did she just say that?" But this is how I feel, so I'm just going to say it. So, and it says it all over my website. So this is no secret. Everywhere, all over my website, it says that actually my goal is to cause some sort of ripple effect, some sort of shift in the way we all define the words health and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a ridiculous statement right there. I realize that it is literally like I'm scratching on a granite boulder with one fingernail. I'm actually expecting to make a dent, But here's the thing: the pyramids are built on foundational blocks, right? And if we look at our public health system, it just simply doesn't work if you try to make a few changes at the top and hope it trickles down. You have to address the base of the pyramid and let it work up. There's a huge quantity of veterans in this country.
Yeah.
And they're largely underserved by our current public health system. And it's probably because in many ways the system is a little bit broken.
Right.
And a lot of the things that Adam was saying the other day, we need to talk about prevention, for Pete's sake. And why not start with something that is so easy, like Tai Chi? It's instantly analgesic. It puts you in a good mood. It qualifies as exercise. All those things are immuno boosting, but they also just make you happy, And oh gosh, if you boil down well-being, there's a lot of research on this. Like, what are the constituents of well-being? A lot of it is how you look at things. A lot of it has a lot to do with how you look at things. So I am so compelled to work with veterans, but I also have some deep personal reasons for wanting to work with veterans. I don't know that we need to get into it here. But
That's all up to you.
I've had some close and personal experiences with some very ill veterans. You know, I know what it's like to care for them. I know what they go through.
Yeah.
I feel really compelled to work with veterans. And I do think that it's an entree into my larger goal. I really think it's an important and relevant entree into my larger goal.
Absolutely. I mean, because those ripples, as you were saying, don't just stop at the veterans. They continue on into their family, into their children, which then continues on into the future. It continues on into their community and all the people that they interact with. So your class ends up being a very influential part of your local culture in many ways. If you've ever thought about that, no pressure going forward, just letting you know. You're kind of a big deal.
Well, I'm not always going to be the only, Tai Chi Fit, or I'm sorry, Tai Chi for Veterans instructor in Delaware. That won't always be true. So let's not too much credit at my feet. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Jessica, tell us about Sculpture Life. Tell us about what you're doing, where we can find you, all that good fun stuff.
Oh, look, I'm wearing my actual shirt today. So
look at that.
Yay. Here's how you find
we're both shilling. That's
great. I am on all the different social media channels, but the fastest way to find me is always to go to my website. And the name of my company is Sculpt Your Life. Actually, it's a registered trademark now. So the full name is Sculpt Your Life, Personal Training, Nutritional Counseling, and Moving Meditation. But the name of the website, it'll be in the notes, Sculpt Your Life. It's not spelled out quite all the way. And then
Very, I love you.
I know. No, it's because I didn't hop on the domain fast enough, so it just wasn't. But anyway, but no matter what page you're on the website, and the website is very robust and dynamic, it's constantly being updated. Just drop down to the bottom of any page and you can shoot me an email, you can call me from the computer, depending on how smart your computer is, or you can just hot link off into all the different social media channels. There's a contact button up at the top of every page, and if you click that, you basically just slide down to the bottom. So you can get in touch with me or follow me, like me, whatever you want to do with me. Very easily from my website is the best launch point.
I need my car washed to beat. Is that what? There's options here. Hold on.
I'm the greatest house cleaner, so don't ask me to wash your car. You won't be happy.
The back nine needs some trimming. Are you available over the weekend?
That's true. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Thank you, Jessica, for joining us on the Chi-Cast here right after Memorial Day. Any summer plans? That's a silly question right now. Yeah. Any hopeful summer plans?
We'd like to get down to Cape May. But we're probably not going to be there very much. So that's it is what it is.
That's true. Well, hopefully everything will start opening back. I know the beaches for New Jersey were in fact opening up over the weekend. I don't know what the fallout for that is. I try to stay out of the news, but it's it's funny. You stay away from the news and the world is a better place.
Yeah. I just don't look. How very ostrich of me, but I mean, it's a downer, man. It brings me down.
It really is, and we are in a world of bringing people up. That I think those statements just disqualified us from ever running for public office. If you weren't already disqualified beforehand.
I don't want that. I grew up in D.C. I moved away, ran away screaming. I'm never going back. That's how I live. So good. Somebody else can do that.
There you go. Well, all right, Jessica, thank you once again for joining us on the Chi-Cast. And for everybody at home, know that Jessica is one of the Chi-Cast hosts, so you'll see her doing her own interviews and having fun with the rest of our crew here in the Philadelphia metropolitan Delaware Valley area, whatever we're calling this at this point. We're in Eagles country. We're in Eagles country.
Yes.
I'll just say that. All right, Jessica, have a great day. And for all of you at home, you can find Jessica at Sculpt Your Life. both on Facebook, Twitter, all over the place, YouTube, you name it. Sculpt your life. You are. Find the young person in you, and you will
Oh,
find.
use the word Y-O-U-R. I pop right up apparently, according to a great SEO.
Now I'm interested to see who Sculpt Your Life, where that leads, actually.
There's one other Sculpt Your Life in Ireland, but they sell Juice Plus, which is a product I highly advocate. So
Okay.
totally good with that. But I think I have the best SEO of any Sculpt Your Life in the world right now, which is great.
Probably. We're all high in the Google algorithm right now, thanks to COVID. So, all right. Have a great day, Jessica. And I will see you soon.
I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. So that was Jessica Lewis, one of our fantastic instructors here in the Tai Chi for Veterans program.